And they sort of have the upper hand here. Noble just sort of need to win one or two. ALG have to win and hope other people lose. Their destiny is not in their hands.
That's right. If ALG only win one, they're in a really tricky situation. But if this becomes a split, it could still be Noble and ALG still getting relegated if Cryptic can manage to find that 2-0 against Vigilant, which is going to be an interesting situation to see how the day pans out. I'm not surprised that Hou-Yi is that early ban, considering both of these two hunters between Wowie and Medyanki can play at very high level, and Fafnir gets selected first for Wubbin.
ALG, on the other hand, focusing on the jungle, taking out the Nemesis and the Najah. ALG making sure to keep Skilladon down. Skilladon's a streaky player, and when he's hot, he's really hot. He's able to kind of carry the game by themselves. They didn't mention him on the desk whatsoever, just kind of brought up Wowie, but this jungle position for Noble is extremely important. ALG want to make sure he doesn't get off to a good start, but Noble still selects Serket.
I'm surprised that they picked Serket knowing that Skilladon likes the Susanoo. We've seen him play Chang'e every now and then. He has such a wide variety of a god pool. On the flip side, though, for Allegiance, it's weak in there as well. So I'm expecting this is a strategy that Noble developed, trying to take Serket off of Weaken's hands.
Yeah, Weaken played a really strong Serket the other day. His team unfortunately wound up losing, but he built this sort of tank Serket with a mystical male in tow and was really able to control the situation from the jungle. So I liked that look from him. Noble taking their notes and stripping the assassin away from the team leader. Osiris could also wind up in the hands of Weaken. We've seen him play around with those tanky junglers, so a little bit of ambiguity on the side of ALG there, who now focus on the warriors, betting out Arlong, Shen, and Hercules, while Noble stick to tanks, taking care of Athena and Gep.
Like you were talking about before, the thing that Weaken does really well is his ability to flex between the same god pool of Cyclone Spin.
Right.
This Osiris, this Kukulkan, ALG, they know where they're going, but Noble and the rest of us don't really know. And knowing ALG's playstyle, I'm expecting a lot of early pressure around the solo lane jungle side.
Well, Wowie got his Jingwei. This is one of the more impressive characters I've seen Wowie on, so we should see how this long lane that we're focusing so hard on the desk really breaks down. Terra is the selection for the support on ALG. So again, Jingwei versus Scotty. This is the matchup I'm really staring at. Wowie versus Medyanki. Medyanki has proven himself in a number of arenas. Can he win this game for ALG by himself is a big question.
Well, you can look at the Hunter versus Hunter matchup all you want, but you have to take into consideration the global Terra presence. That Terra's blessing can easily turn the tide here for Medyanki, especially playing the Scotty. The amount of control that he gets with that permafrost is going to make things really difficult for Wowie if he decides to step up a little bit.
So as we get into game here, again, this is sort of the battle of the bottom. Noble and Allegiance trying to not find themselves banned out here. Wowie just rocking out, getting ready for the game. Gotta amp himself up. And then Skilladon here. This guy has been marked as potential for up to what feels like 2 years at this point.
Look at what ALG is doing, grouping up this early around the solo lane. I expected early pressure, but I didn't expect it this early before the minions or the jungle camps even spawned.
Yeah, Skilladon, like I said, a lot of people high on this player for a long time, but it feels like it hasn't come to fruition as much as it should have. What do you think holds Skilladon back?
I don't think it's necessarily anything holding him back. I just don't think he had the right opportunity or the right place. And what Allegiance is doing here is that they're trying to just allow the pressure to naturally develop on the right side. They didn't even group up to ward, because a lot of teams will do that. They'll group up in the beginning, they'll drop a ward, then they'll all fall back. But no, that's not ALG's playstyle. They're going to be able to apply so much pressure onto Noble that they're going to be able to start stripping away the speed and the blue buffs.
So Maswal here, with everybody stripping away all the buffs, it's up to him to kind of bring that pressure in the mid lane. On the Thoth, not exactly going to happen level 1, especially versus the Soul. But as the game gets later and later, Maswal on this Thoth has proven to be really strong.
Yeah, especially considering that he's going to be grouped up with Fafnir just to help peel him in the early game. They're not going to get the lane pressure that they want in the mid lane, considering it's a Hunter and the mid mage grouped up there. That's allowing ALG to start collapsing underneath. Wubbin can only be that spectator.
Yeah, wow, we're going to go back to lane and meet up with Terra. Meanwhile, the invade coming out from ALG proves successful. 4 players strong. They take away the speed buff away from Noble. No big deal for them.
Something that I would love to see from Noble is like when you know you're not going to have mid pressure and you're going to concede your speed buff to a 4-man group up. Oh, Cyclone Spin, though, so low. Instantly steal it down with the first blood.
2 players grouped up and finds him with the zigzag. Deathbane coming through in the clutch, and this is all Skilladon needs. I mentioned he's a streaky player, but when he's hot, he's really hot. Totally, that first blood could be the catalyst to just send Noble into the stratosphere.
That's huge. Both Weekend and Cyclone Spin are one of the best 2v2 fighters in the early game between levels 1 and 3, but not really respecting the potential between both Bologna and the Circuit, and that kind of damage. Before Cyclone Spin turned into that Rage 4 mechanic, he wasn't able to really survive or get off the shield.
Yeah, this is a Fire Giant side of the jungle that I really like. Wow, getting knocked up. Stunned out.
Oh, Nero Ma.
Just classic.
Just Nero Ma being Nero Ma, honestly.
Yeah.
That's something that he loves to do. He knows what he can and can't get away with. Because we saw Med Yankee solo farming the dual lane, this allows the timing for Nero Ma just to delay Wowie from even delaying the purple. Whether or not he stole it, you're applying damage onto the Jingwei before the Devil Gloves come online, maybe force a premature health potion, and that could even allow Med Yankee further down the line to get a solo kill.
Nero Ma has been a great application to his team. On Allegiance, but heading back to the Fire Giant side for Noble, Skilladon and Walrus have just been 2 of the guys that I feel like just limitless potential, but they've never really been able to find it and make it work. And you mentioned that you don't think there's anything that's been keeping Skilladon down per se, but Skilladon and Walrus, like at some point, it's just got to happen because there's so much, like I said, potential, and there's so many conversations about these 2 players, and I'm one of them having those conversations. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but we just don't see the performance all the time. I'm hoping totally that it's not too little too late. I think Noble still has some gas in the tank, and if they take care of Weekend right here, which they will, Skilladon with another kill, this could be the look that Noble's looking for.
What was Weekend doing outside of his tower? A Cyclone Spin sitting under his own tower. A lot of miscommunication between these 2. We were talking about it during Picks and Bans, how Cyclone and Weekend would play off of each other, but not like that. Not in a situation where both of them would find themselves with 1 death apiece before the 3.5-minute mark.
And that's another, that's another pairing up here, the jungle solo pairing. Weekend and Cyclone Spin been playing together for a long time. These guys are great friends. But again, a team that hasn't reached the success that they probably should have, or the success that they've had in the past.
You were talking about people just running out of gas in the tank, and maybe that's the situation for Weekend and Cyclone Spin. Maybe the other new bloods kind of caught up to them here because their time during AFK was just reigning supreme. They won the spring split, I believe, in season 1, season 2, something like that. And they were just on fire. A lot of teams looked up to them and how they played and tried to adapt to the meta that they created. But this time around, the meta that Weekend and Cyclone Spin made is no longer existent, and they just haven't been able to adapt.
But at the same time, I mean, why not? Weekend can play the tanky picks in the jungle as we see him picking up that Osiris, and Cyclone Spin can 100% pick up the Kamazats. Allegiance right now got to defend their red buff. Skilladon over the top looking for Neo Ma. Grabs him in the knockup, and the ultimate is strong. But Meg Yankee comes through taking care of the jungler while Wubbin takes out Naruma. 1 for 1 so far. Wubbin in trouble. Wubbin going to fall down. Oceans puts number 2 on the board for ALG. Well, they're not able to successfully defend their red buff, but they certainly punish the opposition. 2 for 1. ALG find their 2 kills in the game.
The counter engage sometimes superior to the primary engage, and good counter rotation from ALG. Weekend showing himself right around that corner. Even though they got that early kill onto Nero Ma, both Skilladon and Wubbin falling, red buff still going ALG's way, not worth for Noble at all.
So again, our conversation before, the meta's not there any longer. Well, tanky junglers are there.
Sure.
Weekend does the tanky jungler setup man thing, and Cyclone Spin can totally play a couple of assassins in the solo lane. Not all of them are viable. I'm not saying he's coming out with Thanatos anytime soon, but I mean, Kamazats has proven to be successful in this current meta. So why don't we see that Cyclone Spin on the hard carry Weekend setup man combination that made them so successful so many seasons ago?
It could have been that one play, honestly, that Omega did way back in the day when there was an Odin versus Hercules matchup, and that could have been the career-changing, like, you
really think so?
You know how wrestlers get injured?
Yeah.
That was maybe Cyclone Spin getting straight up injured, getting first blooded around level 2 to Omega ago when he got pull pushed under the tower. And then after that point, I think he started just to second guess himself almost every time of the way. And this game, unfortunately, he didn't second guess himself. He took such an aggressive pathing and positioning that he wanted to fight 2-on-2, and it wasn't in his favor. Giving up first blood to Walrus is allowing him to do what he's doing now by freezing this lane, getting a huge advantage, already one level above Cyclone.
And this strategy is just going to increase that, letting the minions kill each other, and he's just not able to really grab it.
The experience per minute here, 130 difference between Cyclone Spin and Walrus. A great opportunity for Walrus to freeze this lane and utilize his levels and just be that constant bully. Already hitting level 9 before Cyclone Spin hits level 8. He's able to just run havoc on this lane.
And he's also providing a ton of poke.
One bludgeon.
Bludgeon bringing him down to half HP. Wubbin being brought down about a quarter, or losing about a quarter.
Skilladon's
the dive! The dive, Skilladon from the backside. Walrus not willing to go ahead and help his teammate out just yet. Ooh, Skilly.
That's aggressive. That's aggressive. That's all of the cooldowns necessary. That Cyclone Spin needed. He used the ambush to get over the blue buff, and then his zigzag to clear the melee minions. No escapes available for him. His best bet was to push Cyclone Spin away from him and then run away, but then he would the tower aggro.
ALG looking to capitalize with the dead jungler, looking to invade and get some bonus sprinkles. Ocean takes down Walrus. Wubbin could be next. He'll just be chased out. But the speed buff, it's on the ground, so it looks like it did go Noble's way. But Allegiance are able to go ahead and get a kill, and now they'll look for the Gremlins over there as well. And that's what you need to do if you're a team that's behind is a harsh word, but the enemy got the first blood, and you're kind of not momentum's favor. As soon as you find that pick, you got to take advantage.
Just because somebody died early game in a first blood situation, especially if it's solo lane, doesn't give you a free pass to constantly dive them or camp that lane.
Exactly.
That is an example of good mechanics being used to bait yourself. Cyclone Spin is known for being aggressive, but his mechanics can never be questioned. His decision-making can usually never be questioned. And right there, on the defensive end of things, he certainly got the benefit.
You know, I like that play still. I like Walrus and Skilladon going again for the solo laner. It was just a very curious... The execution was just... I don't know what you're doing.
It needed to be together.
With the wave and together.
Skilladon needed to wait for a Walrus to engage, get the tower aggro potentially, and then try to look for the kill. The Circuit poisons off of the ultimate would have been enough with Walrus's damage. The level 9 bludgeon, we saw what it was able to do. It did 33% of Cyclone Spin's health.
Now Cyclone Spin is half a level lead up, and him and Weaken are going to be able to bully Walrus.
It missed the root. If Cyclone hit that root, he probably would at least force the ultimate out of Walrus with all the damage follow-up.
Even still, you know, just one little kill is able to just swing the momentum on the right side of the map. And you can see how fiercely Noble have to respond. They can't just send the jungler. There's just been 3 other people here in order to help out Walrus. The invade on the blue buff is successful, but we are balanced here on a tightrope. Both of these teams are just swinging back and forth.
The stipulations are just too high on the line for both of them, but they came out swinging, honestly, in this first game, considering that whoever loses this one, if it's ALG, they're more likely to get relegated than Noble. Noble still has a chance to make it out of relegations, even if they split here, but it's not going to be too pretty here. They need to get control of the game here. They're still up a little bit of gold before any towers or gold fury.
That's kind of what I expect, though, honestly, Tully, is I expect these teams to come through and come out swinging. I mean, when you look at Weaken, he's not... Everybody, you know, knows that he's more of a setup man, a defensive jungler, but he's still aggressive in the sense that he wants to make these plays early and often. You know, look at him on the left side of the map here, getting ready to harass Wowie.
He's there to share the experience more than anything else, honestly. Wowie's has too much mobility, too much slipperiness to get out of danger between his ultimate, between the Persistent Gust agility combination. Weaken just now hitting level 9, needed to catch up to Skilladon with all the pressure on the right side of the map. Now it's ALG on the left.
Ooh, start of the Gold Fury nice and early, 60% or so. And Wubbin's going to just show up and chase ALG away. So quick response time coming out from Noble as they get aggressive and look at Allegiance as they filter into the mid lane. No ultimates used. Weaken's chased out.
Weekend went up and down on his ultimate, thinking that he needed to use it to peel for Ocean. Skilleton with so much patience, didn't use his beads, didn't use his ultimate, relying on the Ankile for the disruption once he dove that backline.
Yeah, again, another nice pickup of this item. It's been recently changed, and basically the stats have been adjusted to make it more aggressive. This is now the Dive the Mage item. You get some magical protection, some physical power, and also the silence hasn't been changed. When somebody casts on you, they're silenced for a second or so right after the fact. So when you dive that mage and they react accordingly, well, then they're silenced and you can just beat them up even more.
But not only that, it's an AoE silence.
Exactly.
So there was, what was it? Was Weekend right beside him alongside Nero Ma. So that was 3-man silence off of that one item. I think it has a 30-second internal cooldown. So Skilleton can keep looking for these plays if he can bait out some of these ultimates or relics.
Yeah, it's
the beads were
deal.
used for motions.
The beads, do you think he beats out the silence?
I think so. I think he was a little worried that he needed his disapparate to get off just to escape.
Well, Neil Ma going to get stuck up by a little bit of a stun coming out from Maswal, who, again, I mentioned him earlier briefly. What a great addition to this Noble roster. I mean, Noble have always had sort of the skeleton crew of almosts. This team has been almost there for so long, and I think, you know, something you were talking about earlier with respect to the guys at Allegiance, the other North American teams have gotten so strong so quickly, and Noble have just always been almost there, it seems like. In a world where we have 5 more weeks of competition, Toli, do you think that this Noble team could get some wheels underneath them and start moving someplace?
I can never count out any individual group of 5 players after I saw what Rival were able to do between Season 3 and Season 4. I think that Noble definitely have the potential. They need to be able to find that nice mix of balance between aggressive and patience-ness, and then I could see them being more just on the upper echelon of the North American teams.
Yeah, I really like the core that they have. Like I said, Walrus, Maswal, Skilleton, the core on the right side of the map is a powerful squad. Skilleton, I feel like I've said it too much already. A little bit more streaky than I would like, but you know, when he's performing alongside Walrus and Maswal, this team looks very, very strong, and it's almost if you catch yourself watching some of their highlight reels, you find yourself asking, why are they so low in the standings?
I mean, honestly, I respect Skilleton a lot. I wanted to make a team with him in Season 3 before Hi-Rez Studios threw a Pokeball at me and caught me in there. But he is a player that's just been so strong since Season 3 even began. He was on the grind, and this is just showing and paying off his performance even today, let alone the earlier portion of the split. But
again, you know, it's all potential. It's all talk about potential. You know, one of the analysts that was highest on Skilleton was Adonis. You know, he's moved on from SMITE. That's how long we've been talking about the potential of Skilleton. We know it's there. The players know it's there. We know it's there. We've seen it, but I wish we were able to see it consistently on the SPL stage. I think that would drastically change how strong Noble is, because here he comes making plays like this over the wall, and all of a sudden Neil Ma just deleted Woman with the last hit. Huge assist from the entirety of the team, started up by Skilleton.
Oh, man, if Wowie committed to that ultimate, that one shot from Maswal would have certainly found the kill, but that's still technically half a kill, and with the death of Nero Ma, that's going to allow Noble to start up the gold here already less than half health.
Scotty's here alongside Oceans. Gold Fury still going to be grouped on and killed. That one goes to Noble. Nice defense coming out from them. I love the hard commit. It seems that 90% of the time teams will peel and try to take that fight, but then the enemy team runs away, you waste time running away, you get to the Gold Fury and everybody's respawned again. Noble's decision to hard commit there and confirm that, I think that's absolutely the right play.
And the whole idea there is to force out the Terrace Blessing early in a situation where he wouldn't get the heal off. If you're forcing that ultimate defensively, now you don't have to worry about getting engaged on in the side lanes later on. Cyclone Spin wasn't there, Matt Yankee wasn't there, but a lot of Noble members were.
Portal Demon started by Allegiance as Neil Ma makes the wraparound looking for the flank, bringing Woman way down low. Cyclone Spin on the chase. 3-man knockup coming out from the solo lane from ALG. Portal Demon still intact, 25%. Skilleton with a flank of his own. Looking around the backside. Zigzag is strong. Portal Demon goes the way of Allegiance. Skilleton just barely gets on out of there. So ALG pick up their consolation prize. They still find themselves down about 2,000 gold.
Moswell was very healthy there, and he backed because he had no mana. Had he had even like maybe 100 more mana for one ability, he certainly would have stayed there and made that contest possible. But ALG at least respond with a goal after the goal fear from Noble, keeping the game still relatively close as we approach the 16-minute mark. And I like this back and forth action. Noble forcing it onto Nero Ma. He holds onto his ultimate knowing that he was going to die, uses it after the goal fear is already taken, and then ALG get an objective of their own.
Exactly. These are the moves that you have to make if you want to stay competitive. Is that you've got to be able to go ahead and find the something. No, we'll take the Gold Fury. You're not getting Fire Giant anytime soon, right? But you've got to at least give it a shot. Find something on the map, whether that means something as small as Mid Harpies or Portal Demon has become that sort of consolation prize. Like I said, when you got the gold, I guess we'll go for the Portal Demon.
Yeah, both of these teams still figuring things out because Noble abusing Nero Mob before he becomes fully tanky. The 2 deaths already. That second death that he got was even before Hydra Version was completed.
Right.
Reinforced Greaves and tier 2 of that item wasn't really enough to keep him alive. But as the game progresses, I'm sure Noble are going to start switching things up because it's almost going to be foolish to keep going on this support player.
The 4-man group up. Almost caught Skilodon walking way out of line there. 17 minutes on the clock. Neil Moss sneaking around the corner. And the invade will not be successful. Wow, he picks up his red buff. 4-4 read the kills. Noble up about 2,500 gold here. Very important game for both of these teams, Anatoly.
Absolutely. The one thing to look at is the experience different as Skilodon jumps in there, thinking about potentially going on to Oceans. But that Book of the Dead is going to help Soul stay alive a little bit longer. That extra 200 health, the extra lifesteal, as well as just that shield that you get. All that burst damage from Skilodon needs to be probably switched somewhere else.
Skilodon also going for this Mystical Mail on the Circuit. The additional physical protections coming out from it. It's interesting, though, Anatoly. This is a very expensive item, Mystical Mail. And usually when we see the tanky junglers, we see the options for CDR. Why the straight Mystical Mail? This is 2 different players on Circuit that have built this item.
Well, it's also the difference considering that you're getting magical damage out of that Mystical Mail. So if there's any sort of physical defense trying to negate some of the zigzag damage or the in-hand damage from Skilodon Circuit, you're also going to have that Mystical Mail to be able to augment more of your burst potential off of the passive, let alone, like, granted, you don't need to worry about physical defense as Circuit because of the ultimate.
Right.
It's just true damage straight up, but at the same time, you have other abilities that rely on your physical damage, so you're trying to find that balance.
At the same time, I mean, sure, yeah, I guess that's the key. One of the nice things about Circuit, which enables her to be able to build defensively like this in the jungle, is the fact that a lot of her items, a lot of her abilities don't depend on that power. You already brought up the true damage from the ultimate. 1,000 power or 12 power isn't going to change how much your ultimate does. Same thing with the passive. You're either going to do percent damage from the enemy's health pool, or you're not going to do damage at all. There's no boosting that with power. So, but being able to go ahead and take care of that is a nice ability. It lends itself to being able to build defensively.
Ocean's in a little bit of trouble. Terra's Blessing going to come out to save their mid laner. Wubbing gets jumped on by Weaken, but the disengage
Skeely
from
gets
ALG.
chunked. Skilly got chunked really hard. I think there was a shot out of Oceans. Met Yankee's dog on him the entire time.
The physical defense is also very important for Skilodon to survive the damage from Yankee.
Big
Final
shot.
judgment.
Big shot. Can't finish it up. Wubbin got red in his eyes, went all the way deep, couldn't find it. Skilodon trying to be sneaky.
No.
Won't be able to find it either. Shows up
Wow.
and zigzags away. Not the right call there.
The confidence. I'm surprised he didn't get punished for that. There were no cooldowns from ALG to exploit Circuit going in there.
I think he just surprised them. Why are you here? And then he's like, I'm not. And just turns around and runs away. I think that's 100% what happened to Skeely there. Just thought that the target was a little bit more lonely.
That's just like one of those comical reliefs, honestly, that you see. Like, we could probably make a comic off that one situation alone. Gold Fury respawning. Both of these teams very close, neck and neck here. 2 to 3 points as Noble has that 3 points. ALG with 2. A lot of stipulations, relegations need to be avoided for both of them.
Exactly. Noble need to win 1 game in order to find themselves pretty comfortable. Allegiance, however, Not going to be comfortable, even if they win both here, totally.
Yeah.
If Noble win 2, they still have to depend on the match later on between Cryptic and just sort of cross their fingers. Whereas, like I said, Noble, they just got to win.
It's true. If Noble get that 6 points, they don't really have to worry about it, because even if Cryptic 2-0 is vigilant, both of those two teams would be at 5 points. So that would allow Noble to just barely avoid relegations. Allegiance, however, must win 2 here.
Hey, man, the league... Me too. I don't care how much you avoid relegate. I don't care how big the point spread is between 2 spots. You're in or you're out, boss. That's how it works for me. You 6 or you 7. That's it. You can make it there by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning.
Skilladon jumping in. Going to catch Weekend. A little bit of damage, but not committing with the ultimate. Just getting off the poke here. Trying to dissuade Weekend from doing the same play.
Wubbin over here on the Fafnir. Wubbin has been a powerful Geb player and a moderate other character player. I feel like his support play hasn't stood up on other gods. Fafnir today, though, coming out strong. I think it's the combination of the rest of the squad playing as aggressive as Wubbin is.
It's just the combination of the Coerce with the Shogun's Kusari, augmenting Wowie on the Jingwei, augmenting also Moswell, hitting some of his enhance through that Veil mirror wall there, just getting off more damage is so crucial for Gold Fury, for Portal Demon, and Fire Giant.
Oh, yeah. Gold Fury one more time. It's just going to be about the Oracles, however. Allegiance. I like Matt Yankee over there. He's looking. Okay, y'all doing Oracles. You're allowed. If you do Gold Fury,
I'm coming
me
in
and
hot.
my friends are coming.
We coming in hot, yeah, but also respecting the true distance that Skilladon can cover between his 2 escapes and the blink. Still on cooldown for 25 seconds, so he's probably not going to try to commit too hard in the mid lane, unless Woman can hit the nice stun.
He misses it, jumps away.
I think
No
he's
big
just
deal.
I think he's just trying to get those 30 gold off of the Traveler shoes, as both of these teams really switching it up here. They were very fast to start things up. I think it was like 3-2, not even 10 minutes in the game, and then 10 minutes later, 4-4 to final things out here. Skilladon's going to get slowed for a little bit, as well as Wubbin. ALG trying to get some positioning around this gold.
Ooh, Wubbin misses the stun by a long shot. Wowie brings the Gold Fury down to about 25% HP. Noble trying to defend, and Allegiance filter in from the middle lane. 4 players strong here. Neilma look for a stun, can't find it. Wubbin transformation, Neilma out right side. Weekend still there, but everybody looking at Met Yankee. Walrus leading the charge. Dog gonna fall down. Weekend collapsing on the solo laner. Still, Gold Fury being tanked by Noble, finally leashed out thanks to a little bit of help from Met Yankee.
That permafrost is exactly what's deterring it away. Being leashed back up, it's very low.
Backside Cyclone spin. They're going to go ahead and take it away. Solo lane rotation steals that. Allegiance own the Gold Fury, and now Noble have to be on the run.
Walrus can't run away. He doesn't have the Eagles rally. 2 dead from Noble. Not done yet, though. Med Yankee going to receive some return fire from Moswell. And we were talking about just some of the early shenanigans from ALG, but all it takes is 1 Gold Fury steal, and they're back in it.
Cyclone spin with beautiful positioning there, coming around the backside, making sure nobody really knew what was going on. Ton of disruption, and then just slam, finishing off the objective with the last hit. That basically ties the game up. Sub 1,000 Totally. I consider that a tie game. You add a cherry on top by way of the Portal Demon. 487. What lead? Tie game at 24 minutes. Beautiful play by Allegiance, bringing them right back into it.
Unfortunately for Noble, they kept trying to do the same strategy that they employed in the early portion of the game by going on Niramaso Horde. Forcing the Circuit ultimate onto the Terra is not ideal now. He has high diversion, Jade Emperor's Crown to limit some of the damage, and it's very difficult to find the same burst potential. Med Yankee constantly throwing out the permafrost, displacing Noble out. The final judgment from Moswell was mistimed and couldn't secure the Gold Fury over Cyclone Spin.
Now Allegiance pick up their objective on the right side, come over to the mid lane, and tease the tower.
Just teasing it.
They're not actually going for it. It looked like they were going to group up in real heavy siege. Why do you think Allegiance second-guessed themselves?
It just seems that both of these teams, whoever engages first is usually on the worst receiving end of it, potentially. We saw what happened in the First Blood, the Gold Fury just now. patience is the key. This game is still even despite Gold Furies, the last Gold Fury going for ALG here. They're still trying to get the game relatively in their favor. With Mad Yankee sitting at level 20 on the Scotty, his defense is there with his Mantle of Discord. He has the physical power with the Transcendence. They're relying on him to finish off the Titan's Bane to get the penetration before they start grouping for these towers.
And Skilladon's got himself a Titan's Bane. So the Circuit's going to be actually able to nail the tower stronger than you might expect, and Legion's certainly going to be able to have a little bit of fun here. Terra's Blessing popped as everybody tries to converge around the middle lane. Wubbin in trouble, but Skilladon's in most trouble. Skilladon brought all the way down, way too far up front. Was the jungler. Met Yankee feeling good about that. 4-0-1 for the Hunter from Long Island. Legion still 5 players strong, looking at this mid lane tower, and only 4 in noble jerseys ready to defend.
The oven was still going there. It wasn't time to take the food out. Unfortunately, Skilladon was a little bit too hungry there, but now ALG with a 5-on-4 advantage. They're going to go in a Cyclone Spin, Rallying Roar on 4.
And here comes Chef Weekend on the top, looking for everybody else. He's going to put Wubbin right back into the oven, and the rest of them are looking towards the tower. Just a couple of basics will make it tumble, and down it goes. Wally and Wowie still up front. Players in Allegiance very strong and willing to take them down. Mozzie's able to answer back 1-for-1 in the middle lane. Walrus still alive until Met Yankee again puts him down. 5 kills in total for Met Yankee. 1 kill, more importantly, 7 assists for Weekend in the jungle. Oceans trades his life out there for a tier 1 tower. I don't know how he's going to feel about that, but that's a win looking at the other people falling down as well. Perhaps most importantly, Walrus.
Sure, absolutely. You look at Cyclone Spin, diving that backline, finding 3-man knock-up, keeping his team on the aggressive side, demolishing that tier 1 tower, finishing off 2 members very importantly. But look at the score. It's 5-9 with Allegiance only having about a 500 goal lead. Still nothing to brag about. Gold Fury respawning in 1 minute, and I don't expect neither of these teams to go for the Fire Giant quite yet until there's at least 3 dead members.
This game has proven to be a game of inches, not miles, and watching these all-out battles over a tier 1 tower. I think we're going to see a lot of these, Totally. We're 27 minutes in. I don't think we're leaving anytime soon.
I don't think so either, because look at the way it started off with ALG using that Terra's Blessing to kick things off. I thought that they were going to try to dive Mosswall, or at least force him so far back that they would be able to get the tower for free, but Skilladon tried to stop it.
Woman slowed out a little bit. Neomod not able to find the crowd control that he was looking for. But now it's the dual lane tower that's under attack here. With the Wave God, Met Yankee able to focus, and between him and Oceans, these towers are going to fall very quickly.
That Titan's Bane now completed for Mad Yankee is what's allowing him to really get the damage off and melt these tier 1 towers. Even though Nero Mod didn't get the necessarily crowd control he wanted on Wubbin and keep him in place, but he delayed the back long enough that it was a 3-on-1, ALG getting another 500 gold under their belt, and now are starting to get a lot of vision on the left side of the map as this Gold Furies respawn.
Yeah, it's right here and ready. Somebody's going to take it. Allegiance with the powerful positioning, I would say. Tie game at the moment. Next Gold Fury puts them up a couple of 1,000 gold, so definitely something that you want to look at.
Trying to find a little bit of poke here as Weekend throws out the second ability. Neroma could look for a slow here. He would definitely want to go on the backline or use the walls to cut off the entry.
Skeely looking for a flank, but Cyclone Spin spots him out and forces the Circuit player back a little bit. Actually, no. Skeely just hits go, grabs somebody with the ultimate, and runs back to the team. Ma, half HP. Wowie off of his jump is going to be in some trouble. Ultimate down, so doesn't have that escape available. Walrus jumps backwards defensively with the ultimate, and that's all Legions need to go right towards the gold.
Weekend is alone, though. Not going to get exploited quite yet. Gold Fury already less than half health. Cyclone Spin using the Roar on 2. Final Judgment being channeled. Going to get canceled because Weekend is zoning.
Weekend by himself is exactly what he and the team want. He's, as you said, zoning everybody out. Skilladon going to confirm the kill on him, but it's Oceans turning it around. He's protecting the jungle and taking down the Circuit. Wubbin answers back, looking for Neil Ma. It's a 1-for-1 so far.
Skilladon still dead for 45 seconds. Gold Fury being pulled by Noble. They got the first one, lost the second, trying to go for the third. Oceans and Cyclone on the right, Med Yankee on the left.
They don't
trying
see
to
Cyclone.
find the pincer.
They don't see Cyclone. They don't see Cyclone. Walrus is taking care of general people. Here comes Cyclone. He did it once. Will he do it again? Noble are able to snatch it away despite Cyclone Spin's best efforts. Fool me once, says Noble. And now they're looking to punish the Kukulkan, but it's Met Yankee putting Wubbin in the ground again.
We were talking about it before. Once 3 members are dead, that's when Fire Giant is going to happen. Niroma's still dead for ALG, but they don't need him to secure these objectives. In fact, they're going to get him here a little bit closer by getting the Portal Demon beforehand.
Portal Demon beforehand, specifically because I think Cyclone Spin very low. Needs to head back to base, and he'll be able to show up right in time here. The rest of Allegiance also going to head back. Players are respawning totally. I'm not sure how reasonable this Fire Giant's going to be.
It's all a bait here currently. Weekend spotting around the corner, trying to see if there's anybody going to be checking around the FG. With ALG having Sentry Ward right inside the Fire Giant pit, Noble have to keep this objective in check.
Wowie and Skilldon show up to do just that. Dash forward from Neilma, trying to separate the Hunter away from everything else, and gets the ultimate. Fire Giant leashed, but will be picked back up in just a moment. Accidentally by Cyclone Spin. But Skilldon is still local, so I don't think Allegiance are going to hard commit to this objective totally. They're going to settle for just the Portal Demon out of this one.
Have to respect the damage from Oswald with that Final Judgment ultimate up and running. That is a huge burst secure. There's no Hand of the Gods. There's no real possible way to out-damage the Final Judgment from ALG.
And Oswald's also been the guy for Noble that's perhaps having the best game. He's positive 1-0-3 slash shine over there in the mid lane. He's top player damage, and Thoth player damage, I mean, when you look at characters like Vulcan, I don't really call that fake damage, because when you're nailing that sort of poke out, I mean, he earned one of your half kills before, shoving somebody out, didn't get the final blow, but the player had to walk back to base. That winds up being a Gold Fury attempt. Oswald has been one of the more successful players here. I think Skilldon has gotten a lot of the spotlight in this game, making the flashy, aggressive plays, but Oswald's been in the back playing Thoth almost perfectly.
And that's the 2 180 identity switches between Skilldon and Oswald. Oswald is very patient, very quiet, letting the plays just naturally develop until it's his time to answer the call. Whereas Skilldon is trying to force the issue a little bit too hard this game. It worked out for him in the beginning. He's starting to get punished for it now as we approach the 33rd minute mark, and both of these teams switching their focus on the right.
Got to be careful of Weekend with the flank, but Weekend's going to head up the safe way and join the rest of the squad. Allegiance now, again, jockeying for position around this Fire Giant. Ocean's firing out some nonsense.
Still trying to find the right possible angle. Skilldon, he got spotted out. Weekend and Ocean's right beside him as Skilldon just retreats underneath. It's just a battle for these Sentry Wars. These teams don't want to actually commit to this Fire Giant. You could easily just get so punished for it. Even with Med Yankee having this Mantle of Discord and the Genji's Guard, he needs to be very mindful about his positioning, relying on his Kaldir to kind of self-peel for himself.
I mean, worst case scenario, right? We're deadlocked even here. The team that picked up the Fire Giant basically gets the remaining towers on the board. I don't know about Phoenix's just yet, but all 3 towers are gone for Noble if Allegiance are able to pick it up, and likely a Phoenix Siege. Allegiance, they lose all their towers if it goes the other way as well. Oswald down the middle won't find anybody. Wubbin half HP now after transformation. Still going to be all right.
That was a great Aegis from Med Yankee, absorbing the damage from Final Judgment. If that connects, not going to be a kill onto Med Yankee, but we'll get him to that 25% health threshold where the rest of Noble could look for the dive.
Cyclone Spin and Ocean still have the ultimates, which are giant team fight ultimates. Weakens to a lesser extent, especially when there's a lack of healing on the squad, but still something to think about. There's Cyclone Spin dashing on the tower, but it's Skilldon backline, looking for Weekend and Med Yankee and Oceans. Wowie! That's one. Looking for 2. The Aegis gets him out of the damage spot of the mid lane, but he will fall down to Weekend's hand.
Skilldon's trying to dash away. He will successfully save his own life. It's a Hunter for Hunter, 4-on-4. Skilldon's going to back for the moment. ALG relying on Niroma, Monolith healing just to continue the siege of the Tier 2, but they're against Oswald's Thoth. It's just not going to happen.
You know, every time the players group up on that healing puddle, they're just going to be able to be pushed out. Oswald has the range, and he's certainly been doing his job here, pushing players out of where they want to stand and into where he wants them to stand.
Not hesitating on the action whatsoever there. I love the dive. It was Walrus, Skilldon, and Wowie diving that backline, but the disruption that Cyclone Spin provides with his multiple man knockup from the human regular ultimate is just enough to really swing the team fight back in ALG's favor. if Noble wait out that one ultimate, that's when then they can start committing in the backline.
And that's what they need to do as the game continues further. Nice defense coming out from Noble, though, there. I mean, that could have been a lot worse, put it that way. That could have definitely been a whole lot worse.
Because of how long there was a stalemate on the right side of the map, ALG had something about like 6 or 7 wards completely surrounding Fire Giant. Then they felt confident enough to like, all right, we have so much vision here, we're just going to switch our focus on the enemy red buff. And they wanted to try to get the tier 2 tower with Cyclone Spin still making that delayed rotation. Everything was going their way until that dive happened.
Well, right now, Portal Demon will be ALG's target. 35.5 on the clock. Noble gonna respond a little bit, but cautiously. Portal Demon still not being committed to. Wowie hard commit to the Gold Fury, and Cyclone Spin showing up, and that should be enough to chase Wowie out of there. But I think not having Cyclone Spin and Wowie at the team fight will hurt both of their teams. There's the confirmation, and it's Allegiance able to get their Portal Demon, no problem. Skilldon
Weekend
gonna
wants
avoid the
this.
stun.
Weekend wants to go in there because Skilldon used both of his escape, but his Eagles rallying the backline on Walrus. Wowie's going in as well. Skilldon, though, gonna apply the poisons onto Weekend, forcing out the shell.
Wowie not playing too aggressive, and I like that call. He's fallen down twice. I don't think he really wants to find a third one. If Wowie dies here, as I mentioned, he and Cyclone Spin were on the other side. Allegiance have some other options to really start these team fights, like we saw Weekend sort of go in there and stuff. Wowie is going to provide a lot of the damage. He's sitting here about halfway there on the player damage, but this is where the Hunter, I mean, he's full build now. This is where he has to jump up on those player charts as long as he's hitting his shots. And frankly, Wowie's going to hit his shots.
And definitely trying to avoid some of this return damage. Weekend going for Hide of Enemy in line and the Thorns. Double lifesteal from Wowie. Going for the Aussie and the Devil Gloves is relatively uncommon, but it's going to give you more lifesteal than the damage that you're taking.
Ocean's here, starting on the Fire Giant, about half HP on the big guy, but it's leashed out. Something I want to bring up to point. Oceans has a Polynomicon now, so he's going to provide a lot of that burst damage off the front. He's going to toss out his 2, hit somebody with the basic attack, and then try to hopefully let somebody else kill him. But again, Skilldon lurking.
Oh, the persistent gust, knocking up Weekend, allows so much damage. Now he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Circuit Poison's final judgment, taking out Weekend.
Right down Broadway. Weekend's going to fall down. Neil Ma on the retreat here. And it's going to be Cyclone Spin controlling 3 separate players. Neil Ma grouping up back with the team around the Portal Demon's previous spot, healing up thanks to the Monolith. And still, Cyclone Spin by himself over there in the mid lane. This one, Noble win the fight by way of numbers. They kill Weekend, but Allegiance are on their back foot here.
It was a slow and steady poke from Noble. That persistent gust setting up so much damage from Mosswall with their first ability. Then eventually, once Skilldon hard committed, he threw Weekend into Mosswall with a sonic boom from Mosswall to follow up. That was an easy pick, but they're not taking advantage of this 20-second respawn timer.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm asking. I misspoke and I said Allegiance. Noble win the team fight, but then it looked like they're the ones that have to back off.
They were a little not on the healthy side. They're still trying to be patient about it. They're going to start up the Fire Giant now with Wubbin. Well, Walrus going in. Eagles rally on top of 2. Skilldon going to go in the backline as well onto Medyankee.
Big play getting the 3-man stun there. Totally Medyankee to be chased on out. Skilldon gets the kill and he's gone. Safe and sound as the jungler gets in, does the dirty work. Peace out. Skilldon on retreat. Wubbin might fall here, but that's all right. His team did what his team needed to do. Take out Medyankee for 50 seconds. Mosswall looking to turn around, get stunned out here by Neil Ma, but the dash will be fine. Again, Noble successfully fight, get a kill, but it looks like they're the ones in trouble.
Walrus and Wubbin, the 2 Ws were very low in the yellow. They need to back, heal up, but they got the key member there. Weekend dying is not the end-all, be-all for Noble to force a Fire Giant, but Medyankee dying, the damage that he's providing and the control between Permafrost and the Chaldeer ultimate is enough to maybe even go on this Fire Giant here.
Well, we're not seeing it just yet. Skilldon in the mid lane, the rest of the team grouped up as Bologna starts inching towards the Fire Giant.
Oceans went towards the left. I think Skilladon spots that out. I think he might be calling it. Fire Giant not going to get started quite yet. Now it will be ultimate from Wubbin wanting to get that AoE coerce off Eagle's rally even.
Yeah, this is a full commit coming out from Noble. Love this choice. All in on the Fire Giant. They are not going to leash this one. Confirmed by Moswell. And the fight, it's all about Cyclone Spin because he showed up. But Noble want to back off here, head to base, regroup, and push. Love this aggressive play from Noble. We sat here and watched them win the team fights. We're like, when are they going to make their move? They chose very carefully. I like it.
Mad Yankee was dead. Oceans was spotted going to his own red buff by Skilladon. That's why he jumped over towards those right side mid harpies. The AoE coerce from Wubbin, the final judgment. So the AoE coerce from Wubbin sets up the play. Eagle's rally also, the aura between the physical damage and the protections sets up the play. Moswell ends it with his ultimate.
And that's textbook right there. Getting the coerce to be able to burn it down and the mage to finish it off. That's how you do objectives, folks.
That's why Fafnir was first picked for Noble. They prioritize Wubbin's pick very often, honestly, in the SPL. Look at Season 3, honestly. They always wanted to first pick Athena for him. He switched away from the Athena, you know, playing the Fafnir. Now at 4 so far, good looks. You know, they're up about 5,000 gold, which is not too much now considering it's almost a 41-minute mark. This is the difference between 86,000 or 81,000. Everyone is basically full build with the exception of Oceans.
But it's still, you know, this is the gold. I always look at gold, even when we're past the point when everybody's 6 slotted. I always look at gold because it shows you how well the team has been performing. You know, if you're down 20,000 gold, but everybody has 6 slotted items, it still tells you that you ain't been winning, buddy. It's been an issue for you. Now, watching it neck and neck, 6,000 gold and a Fire Giant for Noble. This is the largest lead of the game, and they need to make something happen off of it. Skilladon looking for the flank. Not going to find it.
4 members trying to defend the tower as weakened. It's going to prevent Skilladon from flanking, but the tier 2 was successfully demolished from Noble. Now switching their focus on the middle lane. The stipulations here, the relegations, is very important here.
I love that play from Allegiance right there. They defend their tier 2 tower to a point. They're defending the team fight more than the tower. A lot of times we see teams, especially with the Fire Giant, they aggress on the tower, they just catch one guy out of position and they're able to snowball it into a team fight and then a Phoenix. Weekend sitting there protecting, making sure Skilladon doesn't get the flank, not because he wants to engage on himself, but just make sure, don't fight us. You want the tower, you can have the tower, but just don't fight us.
Skilladon and Weekend have a very similar mindset when it comes to playing Smite, so that's Weekend saying like, hey, what would I do in Skilladon's shoes? Like, oh, I would be looking for a flank assist Circuit. All right, well, I'll cover that option, allow my team to at least make sure that there's nothing additional beyond that tier 2 tower.
To give credit to Allegiance as well, I mean, they're also just reading Skilladon. Skilladon has looked for that flank literally every single time.
That's his job. He's a Circuit. He needs to dive the backline. He has to dab every single time on him, and for good looks in the early game, not able to really do so in the mid to late.
You really said that, didn't you?
I mean, you got to dive all backlines, dab on him.
Fano K is going to ask you for royalties on Twitter now. Just putting that one out there. 9-13 are the kills. 43 minutes on the clock here. Noble with the largest lead of the contest. 11,000 gold here. And as me and Toli have mentioned a number of times, and they even alluded to on the desk, very important matches. Noble trying, both of these teams trying to avoid relegation. Don't forget, folks, next season, we're cutting the teams down to 6. So it's perhaps the most important relegation moments of these teams' individual lives. Noble have to win out in order to secure themselves.
ALG have to win out to make sure they avoid relegations.
Well, even if they win out, they are still in trouble.
They're still in trouble, but they put themselves in a better spot. If ALG lose this first game, that puts Noble at 4, ALG with 2, Cryptic still at 2, and Vigilance at 5. So actually, if ALG lose
right now, you're talking about points.
Yes, points-wise. So if ALG lose this first game, they're guaranteed to get relegated.
Exactly.
They need to win both and then still hope for a miracle.
Yeah, this is the definition of a must-win for ALG. Noble, on the other hand, they want to win. But if Noble are able to take away, I believe, just 1, they're going to be able to push forward, but 2 would be certainly ideal, making them a little bit safer on our point system. Again, I'm Tom, this is Toli, and we're mid-game of Noble versus ALG. The last day of the SPL here at Hi-Rez Studios.
I mean, yesterday European action was pretty epic, honestly. We had a 50-minute Kuzenbo jungle game between Obey and Dignitas. You know, Poppies versus Burrito going the distance, splitting in the first best or 2-game set, going to 3, Poppies getting that 7th seed for the gauntlet, and then now transitioning here to North America. This is game number 1 of the day.
Exactly. And this is how, and what's fun about it is, and I want to give a lot of credit to these teams. Tully, you've been a player yourself. When it comes to playing SMITE on the biggest stage for the biggest stuff, a lot of times you can be goaded into playing passively. And we have not seen that. We have not seen that at all. Allegiance have been swinging since minute 1. Noble as well.
This is also the difference between playing from the comfort of your own home versus playing in front of a crowd, honestly. So this is more of like textbook practice. You know, you're scrimming day in, day out. You're playing ranked. This is still just another day for these two teams.
Well, FG started half HP. Neil Ma here, but not much he can do on the Terra. Cyclone Spin, on the other hand, big difference. Walrus half, and that's going to be Cyclone's target for now. The Fire Giant going to be leashed as everybody from Allegiance looking for the aggressive play. There's the jump from Walrus. Weekend's in trouble. Moswell down Broadway, won't find a target.
He hits Ocean to the back, doing a lot of damage. Wowie's forced to escape underneath. Walrus is forced to exit stage left. The rest of ALG relatively healthy. Walrus in the red is forced to disengage, but Weekend Oceans needs to back on out here. Fire Giant still up. All Phoenixes are intact. Seems that Noble, though, they're feeling confident because of their control of around these objectives with Wubbin playing Fafnir.
Met Yankee and Oceans, full HP. Ready to wrestle. There's no way that Allegiance can go ahead, or excuse me, there's no way that Noble can go ahead and feel safe about this Fire Giant.
It's so low, though. It's already less than half. Hell, stunned out is Wubbin. Moswell thinking about disengaging and re-engaging, but now it's all 5 members from ALG. Look how poked down Met Yankee was from one ability from Moswell.
Yeah, Met Yankee, he just can't get hit there. He just can't get hit
Eagles
there.
Rally.
Beautiful stun coming off of Walrus. Skilled with the blink. Has to zigzag defensively.
Weekend.
Nice shot on the Weekend, plus the hit from the mid lane mage. Over the top comes the assassin. Weekend in trouble. Tick, 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 but he's still alive.
In trouble.
Oceans put Skilledon in the ground. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Tempest Fugit, but Weekend is still alive. And it's a 1 for none. Allegiance on the aggressive
stun
now.
onto Wubbin. Now Cyclone Spin going to jump on in, forcing the Fafnir support back on out. 5-on-4 advantage for a full minute. Should go the way of ALG here. They're going to use that Monolith sustain just to allow more timing for Weekend to get back in here. Once that jungler's there, he's going to be able to go in.
You can't get hit by that.
But you have to heal, so it's like kind of like this weird juking game where it's like you're trying not to get hit, but you're still like around healing up.
But at the same time, you're taking 1 step forward, 3 steps back by healing a little bit and getting hit by it. Go heal behind a wall or don't heal at all.
That's
because
true.
The healing you're taking is a net negative after getting hit by that nonsense from Moswell. And Moswell has shown it to you. You test that once or twice. At this point in the game, Tolly, Moswell's telling you, I'm going to hit you every time. You don't test that guy.
Well, now that's exactly what ALG did. They put that Monolith behind. Everyone is healthy. They're going to start up the Fire Giant here. 4 members from Noble. Skilledon is going to respawn in 7 seconds. They could still look to seal this because Moswell has his ultimate.
And he's nailing Weekend, already half HP. Walrus as well, but these ultimates out of the solo lane on Noble have been fantastic. Not that one. That's defensive. Neilma very low, chased out of the conversation. And Noble looking to turn around. There's the dash forward from Moswell. Met Yankee gets chunked for half of his life bar. Walrus going forward.
Wowie's going in. He wants to find it. Nero Ma's going to disengage as well as Wowie. The Fire Giant is more important for Noble. The discipline from Wowie going for this portal demon, allowing Skilledon to revive. ALG are going to have to concede this Fire Giant.
Yeah, there's no way ALG can come back in time whatsoever. Noble are just going to go right for it. The way, and this, again, this is sort of what I was asking you, Tully, about if Noble had more time to play together as a unit. What we just saw, that was what I like to call the handoff of the team fight. Break it down, because that was so much fun to watch.
It was the one stun from Moswell. The disengage from ALG thinking like, okay, we push Noble so far under their tier 2 tower. We have all the time in the world to get this Fire Giant. But hey, guess what? Moswell dashing through his own wall, separating himself even further towards ALG, and then putting up another wall to increase the range of his stun, clips out Med Yankee on the backhand side. And because of how low he was, the rest of ALG was forced to retreat because their hunter wasn't there.
And I just love watching Noble actually do that play, right? They get chased out. Allegiance are winning this team fight, and it's Maswal's not map vision, just battlefield vision, right? In basketball, we say court vision. The ability to see all of the relevant information in traffic. He sees that moment of opportunity that Met Yankee is lagging behind the rest of the squad. I don't even know if the rest of Noble knew that Mozzie was going to be dashing up. Mozzie saw it and probably just screams and mumble, go for it, go for it. Dashes forward, finds the stun. He has follow-up from the tanky players, and then Wowie just comes over the top. All right, well, they got the engage. They brought him down low. It's my job to get the pentakill. Wowie shows up. Instead, they get an objective. Fire Giant is enabling them to push down this left side Phoenix. No problem.
Just like that, securing the Fire Giant. It was a good backline penetration by Skilladon, getting weakened a little bit out of position. The damage onto Nero Ma from Maswal got him down to half health. And just like that, Noble secured themselves the first Phoenix of the game at the 50-minute mark. And this game is just still too close to call.
It's a lot of fun to watch here. Noble up at 15,000 gold, excuse me.
What?
Certainly showing their lead. Cyclone Spin expected a little bit more of an aggressive move.
He knew that his rage was going to expire, so he might as well use it there. He thought that he was going to clip out one member that was a little bit too close to that Phoenix.
Right side is the choice here for Noble as the minions are here and available. Skilladon catching Met Yankee. Oof. Ouch. And backside here comes a weakened, not too big of a deal. Wow, he's already done the job, but Maswal doing one better, taking out Met Yankee from a distance. Weakened in trouble as well. Walrus just up front. Two Phoenixes left and right. Down.
Catching me by surprise, catching Med Yankee even more by surprise. Yeah. Final judgment this late in the game. So much damage. Going Soul Reaver here just for good measure. His damage is through the charts here, top of the leaderboards.
He's still deathless as well. Everybody in the match, he is the only player that has yet to find himself forced back to base. And again, Thoth, sure, he's a backline artillery mage. He's a little bit safer, but even the plays we've seen him make have been those aggressive dashes. Maswal's performance today has been fantastic, and a lot has to do with his positioning.
It's not all just about the melee characters that can make the plays. Your hunters and mage players still need to be opportunistic when the time calls for it, and that's something that Maswal has been doing time in and time out this game. Now the question is, can he do it beyond this game as the gauntlet approaches?
I believe so. Maswal, to me, has proven that he's the guy. One target is selected, two players get hit by the ultimate, and the rest get jumped on by Wally. Half HP, even less on the Phoenix. Down it goes. Noble pick up what they want. They get the 3 Firebirds. Where do they head here?
They're going to be a little patient as Med Yankee has just respawned. That's the only reason why they made that play at the mid. It was a 5-on-4. The Scotty wasn't available. Now stripping away the buffs. No speed, no red buff for ALG is going to be a crucial factor here. They're going to have these buffs on Noble's side with the Fire Giant respawning in 1 minute.
Very important ward placement coming out from Allegiance. You can see how they have all of their sort of front courtyard, as I like to call it, just warded up here. Sentry wards, making sure that nobody's going to come through. There's no Giannis, but you still got to be careful with all of your Phoenixes down for the surprise invasion.
You got to protect your high garden for the temple to be protected as well, and ALG truly respect that out there. Just covering a lot of distance on the left. Still need to spread out a little bit of that wealth on the right, and the damage, yet again, really being relied from Noble onto Maswal's shoulders. These final judgments in the late game have been so good. Not only that, even just the poke in itself, catching out Nero Ma. No, you can be as tanky as you want. You're still going to be eating a lot of damage from this stuff.
And in a world where players are building defensive options, especially when ahead, because it just allows them to be that much tankier, I love the decision-making from Maswal not to go in that direction, and I like it for multiple reasons, totally. One, Thoth Guy is a character that kind of wants to one-shot players. It's one of his capabilities, and if you can ever do that, I'm down to vote for it. But also, Weekend playing more of a sustained damage character, a tanky character. There isn't an assassin. There isn't this. Met Yankee and Oceans are the ones that are going to do the most damage to you anyway, and they're not going to one-shot you. So a little bit of extra help by way of an urchin? Nah, give me the power and just let's turn it on the other team.
That's exactly what Medyanki was thinking about, selling his Genji's guard, going for this Brawler's Beats. Like, he realizes, like, all right, we're not in a position where we need to rely on my sustained damage.
Yeah.
I need the burst damage. I need some of this maybe anti-healing options, some of the self-sustain options being stripped away. The left side Phoenix being looked at by Noble. ALG are on their last legs.
Left side, Noble looking to make the moves here. Walrus leading the charge. Left Phoenix has been respawned. Wally tanking. Maswell canceling the ultimate. Wubbin looking out on the right-hand side. Walrus on the left. Here's a jump in from the Legions. Not enough to take anybody out, but the ultimate on a weaken as he tries to find the back line is strong. Wowie takes to the sky. 25% HP on the Hunter. And a nice defensive set from Allegiance protects the Phoenix.
Still need to be worried about their Titan, though, where there's a fire minion wave, allowing Noble to maybe keep on pushing on the left side. Here comes a minion wave. Maswell has the damage necessary. So does Wubbin, actually, being that Draconic Fafnir. Skilladon is going to get the right side Phoenix by himself.
Easy. Just distracted all over the place. Allegiance, and that's not a knock against Allegiance. They just had too much homework to actually show up to class. The right side Phoenix went down. It's nobody's bad. They were busy protecting, I don't know, the Titan, the game?
Too much in workload, not enough out for ALG to handle. They lose all their 3 Phoenixes yet again. Fire Giant around Noble's waist for 2 more minutes. This is the time for Noble to put ALG into relegation.
But how do they break the back? Skilladon getting in trouble for this doggo on the left-hand side. Look at Medyanki pop the ultimate. He's not even there. That's Scotty. Walrus, on the other hand, getting stunned out here. Cyclone Spin with a nice initiation. Walrus with the up-down. What an aggressive play. Looking for the group stun. Noble wasn't ready for it. They don't react in time. They're not able to collapse on Allegiance. Walrus gets out of there totally. But Wally saw something and the rest of his team did not.
He just trusts his teammates there. Maswell, if he uses that final judgment, that's going to be an easy clean-up kill on any stun target. Now using final judgment, still channeling it out. Middle Phoenix being looked at, will get demolished here in a second. Channeling it up.
Still waiting for it. Walrus in trouble, likely to fall here. Trouble for Winkin, right in the face. Maswell puts number 11 on the board, saying goodbye to Kurt Schrey. Allegiance still in trouble. 4 players on playing defense here against the Titan. Low are the players on Noble, so I don't know if they can just all-out rush this one. Wowie forced into the ultimate. Skilladon backing.
ALG, though, they're going to try to chase down Wubbin, stunning him out. He's going to absorb a lot of these cooldowns. Permafrost going to lock him down, but he's going to transform, getting invulnerability frames.
Just for a moment. Weaken's dead. Wubbin's down for 80 seconds.
The Titan.
It's a 4-on-4. The Titan's dying. The Titan's in trouble.
Is he dead? Is the Titan gonna die?
The Titan's gonna die all the way to the Minions. It's the Minions.
No! ALG lose like this?
ALG get knocked out to relegation.